Welcome, Scorpio, to your love reading for the week of April 13th to the 19th of 2020. So, here, it seems now, this is more, it may have to do more with your energy rather than maybe the person that you're dealing with. Now, it could be either way, but to me, anytime I see this, sometimes I get a sense of what's magnified and what's really not so. So here we do have some issues financially, and that's showing up. It doesn't mean that you're on a financial uh, breakdown. Some of you could be, but it's the energy of spending a lot of money. If you haven't had that much and you make some, you might go on a spending spree. That might be an issue there, and it may have to do with a lot of say sporadically doing those things because you aren't really happy with how things turned out between you and someone else. So it's like an emotional shopping spree that could be happening. So it's almost like kind of doing those things but being distracted when it comes to maybe career or just doing whatever you need to do in some way. Be on the lookout for that kind of thing. Now we have a few different people that might be showing up here. We have Taurus, but we have a few earth signs showing up. We have a Libra, then we have Leo, and it looks like maybe an Aries that might be showing up there, but it could be anybody. But they are dominant in your reading for this week, I feel. And this all comes through, I feel, for a lot of you. If anything could be happening between you and your romantic partner, a lot of times it could be how you might respond to that particular person. Doesn't mean that you don't have reasons to do so, but it also can indicate how you could be holding on to what has happened or what that person has done to you in the past. That resentment could have you. And I just did the reading for Libra. It's no Virgo. It was for Virgo, and it was how they may be tempted into connecting with someone sexually or in a physical way because they want to be appeased or want to feel good in some way because the other person could have disappointed you. So I feel like that's a red flag that you have to watch out for doing those kind of things. The knee-jerk reaction from the other person may be disappointing, because in the recent past we had the Eight of Cups in reverse, and that is often where you want to walk away but you don't. It's emotionally staying invested or connected with someone no matter what has happened, and not really being able to completely like go through with a divorce or separate yourself from that turbulence when you're disappointed by something that's happened. So you hold on to that, but then you stay, and there's a lot of resentment that could be built up, and then you have this drive to go out in the night or to get on some kind of social app or whatever to connect with somebody and then have your pleasure in that way. So I want you to be careful with how that's going on. Now it can seem intense right now, but you can see the sun all the way at the top, and we'll get to that. And it seems to be something that's dominating the energy, and that sometimes I feel where we're doing this to purposely, we don't do the inside work right away, but we project that on the outside, and we can kind of come through as if we're really having a whole lot of fun and doing these things to maybe get back at whoever this person might be, because they don't seem to be coming through with commitment. Like they either want to do things on their own, they're not wanting to commit because of maybe holding on to something that you've done. They might not even be ready, or they might not feel that financially there's enough support or reassurance coming from that department. Either way, there does seem to be some issues there financially, because you respond with the Five of Pentacles, and still that's feeling a bit kind of left out or away from that person and not being around. Some of you is like being alone with your children or having to that obligation with their own children. And and something that showed up here as well is the Queen of Wands energy. You can see her as a female, and then it's another female, and that could be a child. I'm not sure if you're, say, for the men out there or the women out there, there's a lot of hearsay or things where somebody is kind of talking behind your back at times, and they're letting the other person know how you really might be behind closed doors, and that you might not be honest, and they don't trust you, and the petty bad talk and stuff like that going on. So right next to that person, their intent seems to be single or not wanting to be to connect with this connection. It doesn't make, they're not coming out in a bad way. They just might have some pent up emotions and feeling like they just don't want to really commit right now. And you can see yourself, the Seven of Pentacles that's advice. So it's telling you to wait it out, to hold your horses and not move so fast with the sun being there. It's like you're looking down at that person being single or free, and you're like, even though you two are not committed, you're still looking at them. So figuring out what they might be up to, what they might be doing, who they might be seeing, or whether or not they're really going to move away from you. So where the sun is, though, it's still an outcome of having fun or enjoying yourself in some way, but make sure it's not at the expense of someone else's um, discomfort, like you're purposely trying to push that in their face. And there's a way of not doing that to feel good about where you are and where you stand and who you are, and having that freedom to do whatever you want, for sure, but not to try to make somebody jealous, not to have that. Could you gotta be careful with that too? When you do that to somebody, you never know how that person might respond when you're purposely provoking them to respond or to get jealous or to, to do these things. Yes, do your thing because you have the freedom to do it, but not purposely trying to have them respond. And I feel like that's important for you to hear, because that kept coming to me as I was looking into the reading. So there's a lot of joy to be had. There's a lot of fun, but just be aware of that, because the expense of which you might have fun with could, be a burden on your pockets or whatever, and could have some confrontation with the other person if you're purposely trying to hurt them in some way. So let your friends help you. Ask for and accept support from others. So that's having fun with your friends and trying to just enjoy those opportunities that might come to you as you disconnect from something with someone romantically, and then forgiving or learning the past, releasing it, trying to let that go, the resentment or the emotional connection that you have with somebody, and that could heal and to have you open up to newer connections or the connection that you're really focused on. And sometimes we just have to allow each other to have that space and not really commit, because they may not really just want it right now, and you can't force that to happen. So and that card I was talking about, justice in reverse, that's on your mind, that's what you're thinking about, and that is often an issue because of how we might be thinking about getting revenge on somebody or making them feel a certain way. Be careful with that and be honest about if that comes up. If you're reading this early in the week, you might not be aware of it right away, but the energy can always change and point into that direction. But this is a warning to watch that. All right. So I hope the messages do help you out, Scorpio. Much love to you. I wish you the very best, and you can always go to the description of the video where my email will be for a private or personal reading if you would like that. So have a good one. Enjoy.